Dust swirled like angry spirits around the hooves of Jack Harlan's dying horse as it collapsed in the blistering Arizona heat. Blood seeped from the animal's flank where the outlaw's bullet had struck true, but Jack's own wound burned hotter, a gut shot that promised a slow, agonizing end. Cradled in his arms was his newborn son, the boy's cries piercing the silence of the Badlands like a knife through flesh. Jack's wife, Mary, had breathed her last birthing the child in a godforsaken mining camp, her final words a plea, "Save him, Jack." Now, miles from anywhere, with vultures circling overhead, Jack whispered hoarsely, "I'm sorry, little one," as the baby's wails grew feeble from hunger. But then, from the shimmering haze, figures materialized, 3 Apache women, their eyes locked on him like predators sizing up prey. The leader stepped forward, her voice cutting through the wind. "White man, your baby starves. We have milk. But you must marry one of us, or watch him die in your arms." Jack's blood ran cold, the offer slamming into him like a runaway stagecoach. Marry an Apache. Him, a hardened bounty hunter who'd gunned down dozens of their kind in revenge for raids that stole his childhood home. The women stood unyielding, Nita, tall and commanding with braids like coiled snakes, Kaya, scarred and fierce, a tomahawk at her belt. Mira, older and wise, her face etched with the lines of countless hardships. Their buckskin dresses fluttered in the breeze, and the pouch at Nita's side sloshed with what smelled like fresh goat's milk. Jack's hand fumbled for his Colt, but pain blurred his vision. "You're devils," he spat, but the baby's desperate suckling at his empty shirt silenced him. Accept, and betray everything he stood for. Refuse, and condemn his son to the grave. "What sorcery is this?" he demanded, voice trembling. Nita knelt, her dark eyes unblinking. "No sorcery. Survival. Our warriors fall to your soldiers' guns. We need strong blood. Choose life, or the coyotes feast tonight." Kaya smirked, tracing her scar with a finger, while Mira nodded solemnly. Jack's mind reeled, visions of Apache war parties burning ranches, scalps hanging from saddles. Yet here they were, offering mercy twisted into a noose. The baby let out a gut-wrenching sob, and Jack nodded, the word "agreed" tasting like ash on his tongue. In that instant, the Wild West's unforgiving code shifted, binding him to enemies in a pact born of desperation. They wasted no time, hauling him onto a travois dragged by their ponies, binding his wound with poultices of crushed herbs that stung like scorpion venom. Kaya force-fed him a bitter brew from a gourd, easing the fire in his belly, while Mira cooed to the baby, offering the milk that silenced his cries. Nita led the way, her stride purposeful through canyons that twisted like labyrinths designed by the devil himself. "Where are you taking me?" Jack rasped, the world jolting with each step of the ponies. "To our people," Nita replied without turning. "Hidden from your kind's eyes." But suspicion gnawed at Jack. Whispers in Apache tongue, glances exchanged when they thought him asleep. Were they truly saviors, or luring him to a ritual slaughter? Night fell like a shroud, and they camped in a dry arroyo, the fire's glow casting eerie shadows. Jack feigned sleep, ears strained to their murmurs. "He is weak now," Kaya said in halting English. "But when strong, he will fight us." Mira shushed her. "The child changes everything. He stays." Jack's fingers brushed his holster, empty. They'd disarmed him cleverly, leaving only a knife nearby as if testing his restraint. The baby's soft breathing beside him stayed his hand. Escape now meant death for both. Dawn brought more miles, the sun a relentless hammer. The women shared stories in snippets, Nita's husband slain in a cavalry ambush, Kaya's village razed, Myra's children lost to disease brought by white traders. Jack listened, a shocking empathy stirring despite himself. "Your people ain't innocent," he muttered. "Raids, killings." Kaya whirled, eyes blazing. "Your fort's on our land. Your promise is broken." The argument hung tense, broken only by a distant howl. That afternoon, they spotted dust clouds, riders, perhaps lawmen or bandits. Nita veered them into a narrow slot canyon, walls closing in like jaws. Heart pounding, Jack clutched the baby as echoes amplified every footfall. Quiet, Mira hissed, but the child whimpered. A shot rang out, warning or miss. And they bolted, ponies slipping on loose gravel. Emerging into a hidden valley, they found refuge with a band of Apache outcasts, 24 souls, ragged and defiant, led by an elder named Taza. His weathered face split in a toothless grin at the sight of Jack. A white captive. Good trade bait. Nita stood firm. No. He marries one of us. Strengthens the blood. Murmurs erupted, weapons drawn. Taza eyed Jack. Prove your worth, pale face. Or we feed you to the spirits. The trial came at dusk, raiding a nearby ranch for horses. Jack, bandaged but upright, rode with Kaya and a handful of warriors. The ranch loomed under moonlight, guards patrolling lazily. Kaya signaled, and they struck, silent arrows felling sentries. But as Jack lassoed a stallion, a shocking cry pierced the night, Indians. To arms. Lanterns flared, gunfire erupted. A bullet grazed Jack's thigh, blood hot and sticky. Kaya dragged him to cover, her knife slashing a ranch hand's throat in a spray of crimson. Fight, husband-to-be, she snarled, the word husband sending a jolt through him. They escaped with 3 horses, but lost a warrior to a shotgun blast. Back in camp, Taza nodded approval. He bleeds for us now. That night, around the flickering fire, the women pressed their claims. Mira approached first, her touch gentle on his arm. I know your world and mine. Marry me, and find peace. Her eyes held secrets, a half-breed heritage whispered in rumors. Kaya, bold as brass, pulled him aside. Mira is old. Nita cold. I burn with fire, choose me, and taste true passion. She pressed close, lips inches from his, the heat shocking in the chill air. Jack recoiled, mind spinning. Nita watched from afar, silent. But suspense mounted, scouts reported soldiers massing, drawn by the raid. They come for the white man, Taza warned. Jack's past surfaced. The bandits he'd killed were brothers to a territorial marshal, a bounty poster likely circulating. You're a wanted man, Nita said later, under stars. As are we. Together, we survive. Days blurred into evasion, crossing alkali flats where mirages mocked them, fording rivers swollen with flash floods. The baby thrived on milk and mush, his giggles a rare light. Jack learned Apache ways, tracking deer, weaving snares, reading the wind. But tension simmered among the women. Kaya's jealousy flared when Nita tended Jack's wounds, her hands lingering. She wants you for power, Kaya whispered one eve. Not love. Mira confided her own tale, captured as a girl by Apaches, married, then widowed. I bridge worlds. Marry me, and your son inherits both. The offers layered suspense, each woman unveiling vulnerabilities. But a shocking betrayal loomed. A young warrior, jealous of Jack's growing status, slipped away to inform the army for a reward. The attack came at midnight, bugles blaring as cavalry charged the camp. Tents ignited, screams rent the air. Jack grabbed his rifle, returned now as trust grew, and fired into the bluecoats. Nita fought beside him, arrow after arrow finding marks. Protect the child, she yelled. Kaya charged recklessly, tomahawk whirling, felling a trooper before a saber slashed her arm deep. Mira shielded the baby, taking a bullet to the shoulder. They fled into the night, the band scattered. Hiding in a cactus thicket, wounds bound hastily, Jack confronted the traitor, caught and bound. Why? He demanded. The youth spat. You poison us, white dog. Taza executed him with a knife, blood staining the sand. The loss weighed heavy, having their numbers. Weeks passed in grueling pursuit, the army relentless. They holed up in ancient cliff dwellings, ghosts of Anasazi watching. Here, intimacies deepened. Nita shared her loss, a daughter stolen by slavers. Your son reminds me. Jack felt the pull, her strength mirroring his own. But Kaya, healing slowly, seduced with stories of wild nights. Imagine us, free under the moon. Mira offered counsel, choose with heart, not haste. A storm hit, lightning cracking the sky, flooding their shelter. In the chaos, the baby slipped from Myra's grasp into rushing water. Jack dove in, currents battering him, lungs burning. He snatched the child, emerging gasping, but Mira was swept away. They found her downstream, broken on rocks, her sacrifice shocking. She had pushed the baby to Jack before the torrent claimed her. Grief fueled their resolve. Now only Nita and Kaya remained of the women, rivalry intensifying. She couldn't save him, Kaya sneered. Nita's eyes flashed. Nor could you. Jack, torn, buried Mira under a cairn, whispering thanks. They joined remnants of another band, led by a shaman with visions. The white man brings change, he proclaimed. A ceremony loomed. The marriage to bind alliances. But before it, scouts brought word, the marshal himself led the hunt, vowing to hang Jack and exterminate the Apaches. The confrontation erupted at a forsaken mission, bells tolling ominously in the wind. The marshal's posse surrounded them, rifles glinting. Harlan. Surrender, and we'll spare the squaws. Jack stepped out, gun drawn. Over my corpse. Nita and Kaya flanked him, bows ready. Gunfire shattered the peace, bullets ricocheting off adobe walls. Jack dropped 2 deputies, but a slug tore through his boot, hobbling him. Kaya leaped from cover, knife sinking into the marshal's aid, but he shot her point blank, chest blooming red. She crumpled, gasping, Jack, choose, her. Her death shocked him to the core, fire extinguished forever. Nita dragged him back, tears streaking her paint. For her, we fight. They held off the assault, the shaman's warriors turning the tide with ambushes. The marshal fell to Nita's arrow, throat pierced clean. As survivors fled, Jack and Nita stood amid the carnage, the baby safe in a sling. In the aftermath, under a blood moon, the shaman wed them in Apache rite, blood mingled, vows chanted to the winds. But Nita's revelation shattered the night. Your wife, Mary, she was my kin, taken young, raised white. Raids were rescues. Your son carries our blood. The truth hit like a thunderbolt, his hatred built on lies, cycles of vengeance exposed. Yet peace eluded. Bounty hunters trailed them, drawn by tales of the white Apache. They roamed the territories, raiding for survival, the boy growing strong. Years later, in a showdown at Black Mesa, old enemies converged, a cavalry remnant, seeking revenge. The battle raged fierce, arrows and bullets clashing. Jack, now scarred and seasoned, fought back-to-back with Nita. Their son, 10 now, hidden but watching. A shocking twist. A turncoat soldier revealed as Jack's long-lost brother, thought dead, now leading the charge. Brother? Jack called, lowering his gun. The man hesitated, then fired, grazing Nita. Betrayal ignited fury. Jack charged, tackling him. Why? The brother sneered. You chose them over blood. In the struggle, Nita's knife ended it, saving Jack. The cavalry routed, but Nita lay wounded, blood pooling. She survived, barely, their bond unbreakable. They vanished deeper into the wilds, legends growing. The gunslinger who wed the Apache, their offspring heralding uneasy truce. But in quiet camps, Jack pondered the offer's curse, lives saved, souls entangled in eternal suspense. As moons waxed and waned, the Wild West evolved, railroads snaking through sacred lands. Jack and Nita adapted, trading with outposts, evading posses. Their son, Tomas, learned both tongues, a bridge foretold. Yet shadows lingered, dreams of Kaya and Mira haunted Jack, whispers of more betrayals. One fateful day, in a booming silver town, a stranger approached, a federal agent offering amnesty. "Join us, Harlan. Scout against hostiles." Nita's eyes narrowed. Trap. Suspense built as Jack feigned interest, uncovering a plot to wipe out remaining bands. They struck first, sabotaging the agent's camp, freeing captives. But in the explosion of dynamite, Nita was caught, leg crushed under debris. Jack pulled her free, carrying her miles to safety. "Leave me," she gasped. "Never," he vowed, the echo of her initial offer resounding. Healing in seclusion, they reflected on the path. The shocking union had birthed not just survival, but love, fierce, unyielding. Tomas grew into a leader, negotiating with whites, averting wars. In twilight years, by a campfire's glow, Jack held Nita's hand. "Regret the bargain?" She smiled. "It gave us everything." Their story, whispered in saloons and hogans, shocked generations. A milk for marriage pact that defied the savage frontier, suspense woven into every thread of fate.